Want some candy?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
I hear you looking for candy, man, bitch.
Give me some sugar, baby. Like scary.
Want some candy?
I got really bad and watched like 20 minutes of a lot of movies and was like, can't. But the one that I hated the worst was the one I just watched.
Fun.
I'll talk about that. Great.
All right, get started.
What to say about
2021?
21
besides it sucked, and that's our fucking intro. This is Monster Candy Podcast, and you're sitting here with Screamin E from the Memphis Murder Men and Oobliette Sparks from Tsunami Bomb, and we're gonna tell you what we loved, what we hated, and what we couldn't give a shit about. 2021.
I don't even know. Like, are you in the Memphis Murder Man? Am I in Tsunami Bombs? Do they exist? I don't even know if it's are they real anymore?
Is anything real?
2021 is just like destroyed everything. I don't even know who I am. What do I do?
Who you are. You're a bad motherfucker.
Oh, okay. Well, good. I guess.
All right. Well, let's get into this little impromptu. We haven't done a year in review. We didn't do one last year because 2020 was garbage as well. So
yeah,
figured might as well do one for last year. But what do you want to start off with? You want to start off with our favorite movie, our best movie, or worst movie?
I don't know. I mean, just like, what do you feel right now? What do you feel like talking about?
Lizard people and how they suck.
Well, I know we always talked about that. Well, okay, here I can talk about like a little bit of disappointment.
Yeah, we'll start off with the most. We'll start off with the most disappointing.
So I was very disappointed in continuations of series. We had some real shitbags like Spiral, the new Halloween, Conjuring. The first Conjuring movie scared me more than probably like so many others. I don't know if it was just going in blind or seeing it in the theater and like some of the sound stuff they did, but there were visuals in that still freaked me out.
This last one was
what
they
the
missed the
fuck?
mark on it.
I mean, I've watched it 3 times now because the first 2 I felt like I missed something because I got bored and stopped paying attention. So I was like, okay, like stop being an asshole. Let's give it another chance. But no, it's just like I don't even know. That was just so disappointing.
It was a what the fuck kind of movie.
Yeah, and I psyched myself up for it because 2 was like a throwaway but watchable. But I really thought they were going to bring it back with this one, and it would be kind of scary. And I got all into it, had popcorn ready, got excited, and then I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
God, this year sucks."
Felt they just went off the rails and decided to go in the Indiana Jones suspense kind of action realm as opposed to a possession film, which I guess, I mean, how many times can you do that in one series? But
I mean,
that's kind of the
plenty
whole point.
when it's called The Conjuring.
Right. That's kind of the whole point of the fucking movie.
Yeah.
So definitely agree with you there. It's disappointing.
Yeah, I think the only maybe like continuation or movie like within the same world that I enjoyed was Wrong Turn.
Mm-hmm.
And that would actually be one of the ones in my like favorites of the year, just because I thought that it was cool the way they went with it and changed the story, but still kind of kept true to the feeling of the original, but it didn't feel like regurgitation.
Right. Yeah, my most disappointing movie was Halloween Kills.
Dude.
Which we discussed.
Oh my God. Yes.
So, but just going off of what the 2018 one was, I was super excited for this one.
Yeah, it set itself up to be good and fun.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't. It wasn't fun, and it wasn't funny. And I don't.
Well, Big John, Little John were funny.
Yeah, I mean there were parts, but that's the problem. Like with the writers they had on that and everything, like we talked about on the episode, like it could have been so fucking entertaining and either so campy or so gorgeous. It could have been so many things, but instead they just tried to do a mismatch of like everything.
Good was
and it
not
got
one of them.
muddled. No, good was not an adjective that would ever have come out of my mouth describing that movie.
I agree with that statement 100%. What was your most surprising?
Well, hold on.
Okay. Oh.
I do have, so like, I guess I categorized it as a category of movies. I was very disappointed in the realms of other, but there was one fucking movie, and I just watched it, and it's called Violation.
Oh, you were telling me about that.
And like I almost want to do an episode on it.
Oh, we can.
But I also feel like it's going to be one of those ones where I'm going to have like the entirety of social justice warrior females of the world find out where I live, and like they don't do anything violent, so I don't know, cry in front of my house.
Yeah. I'm down to start shit.
This is a new take on what the synopsis says is a rape revenge movie. And I'm not trying to be a rape apologist or say
canceled.
that
You're canceled.
Women are asking for stuff I can't. This was not a rape revenge movie.
Right.
At all.
I haven't seen it, but
what happened in this was like I even grabbed my husband after I watched it to like give him a synopsis and put people like we knew in this scenario and me as the like victim.
Right.
Just to like see what he would say. And he's like, first, why is that a movie? And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, second, it just sounds like a conversation you would have with the person, not gutting them and bleeding them out and then crushing their bones into powder and feeding it to their family. But whatever, Yeah. I guess it was like, I don't know. Watch it if you will, but I almost turned it off, but it had this very Lars, what's his name? Lars von Trier, the guy who did Antichrist and Dancer in the Dark and all that.
Yep.
It had that bullshit kind of melancholy feel and like the soundtrack, but everything I'd read about it, I really felt like it was going to go full horror and more like I Spit on Your Grave route. And I don't know. I feel like I need to do research about this and actually see where the director was going, because I feel like it's not supposed to be a rape. I don't know. I'm confused, but it's some fucking bullshit.
Well, there's been an interesting thing going on online, mostly on Twitter, and just for the sake of reiterating this, Twitter is such a toxic and garbage place.
That's awful.
But there's this whole thing where, the whole horror movies are too woke camp versus the, oh my God, horror movies have always been woke, you're stupid people fighting.
Right.
Which, sure, there's anything that has to do with actual life is going to have some sort of influence of whatever's happening. But
right, and horror is a genre where you can kind of go to the extremes of that and address issues that you can't as easily in other realms.
Right. The issue I have with, both parties that are fighting, because they both just neglect that either thing is happening. Like the one side is like, it has to do with all sort of social commentary, and then the other side is this doesn't, there's nothing to it. And then there's the people, the quiet voices in the middle that are like, which I agree with, that are saying, yes, throughout horror there have been social commentaries and all of that stuff mixed in, but the difference is the movies now make that the focus of the movie, whereas the old ones, it was in there, but the storyline, it had a good story, or the story was the main focus.
Yeah.
Which is what I agree with, because I'm assuming
this one did have that. I would give it
right.
that. I think for me, and it was funny because I was reading reviews of it, and one person, it stuck out. I read them before I watched the movie, and then after I watched the movie, I was like, that person was right on. And it was just like, this isn't a rape revenge movie. This is just a movie about a mentally unstable woman.
Mm-hmm.
And it was. I mean, it totally was. There was definitely a sexual assault that happened in the film, and like the things that led up to it, or whatever people can take however they want. But in no way would this be like a fuck yeah for women at the end of it, or whatever. Like they were trying to make it.
Yeah. Which is the issue, when they do stuff like this, they want to make it.
Promising Young Woman. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
So that one was meant to be like social commentary, definitely, just like how that movie The Hunt was. But the way in which they went about it, like I enjoyed that movie. It was great. It was very realistic. There were many scenes where, I've been like, yep, that fucking happens all the time. And it, even though it had some over the top violence, it didn't feel like, holy shit, she just did that, like it progressed in a natural way. This one, it was like over the top, which for a horror movie, I feel like is great. And I like that stuff. My problem with it is I really felt like it was trying to kind of be political in like a not great way.
Right. That was the message, not the story,
mm-hmm.
which is what so many of these fall victim to.
Yeah.
It just gets annoying. And the people that were, the fucking logical people in the Twitterverse that were saying, yeah, you could do that, but make the story good and make the story the focus, not the message, because we see this shit constantly. So when you're watching something, it feels like you're getting beat over the head with it. That's not fun. I don't need a fucking lecture.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. If you watch it, let me know what you think, because I don't know.
Oh, I will. We'll do
I was
it.
like pounding wine and cussing at the screen, so it was fun.
Sounds amazing. We can get right on that.
Well, it depends. I don't know. You might like the abuse.
Yeah. No. But maybe. I don't know. 2022. Who knows what I'll like?
True.
It's fucking clown world anymore. My most surprising, the movie that surprised me the most, which, man, I almost feel dirty saying this.
I feel like I know what you're gonna say. I'm gonna laugh if it is.
But I just can't fight it any. Willy's Wonderland surprised me, because I went into it, as we all do, like, oh, here we go again. Good old Nicolas Cage. And I liked it. Even with the kids, like they were still a little annoying, but that didn't affect the movie too much. And I was surprised at how much I actually liked it. So
I have it written in his mind too. When I saw the trailer and you and I started talking about it and I started reading about it, like I wanted to love it so bad. Like I was scared to watch it because I knew I was going to hate it. I just knew it was going to be a pile of shit, and there was no way. And so I hated my excitement for it. But then after I watched it, I mean, I started fucking listening to the soundtrack. I'm into it. I think it is a great movie. I think it will stand the test of time. And I really do want to see if someone does some weird alternate universe shit where like that Nick Cage character shows back up or Willie shows up as something else, like it would crack me up, or at least like a throw in to another movie about it or something.
How can they not is my question.
It's just so good.
For such a simple
So
movie.
dumb. Yeah.
Seriously, for such a simple movie, there's so much you could do with it beyond
That's
that movie.
why it's so good.
I know.
They did not try to push the limits on that movie. Like they knew what they were working with, and they stayed with all the classic tropes and the stuff you would expect, but they did it so well that it was exactly what you wanted to see.
I agree, Oubliette.
Sometimes less is more, and
This is
sometimes
true.
murdering animatronic Chuck E. Cheese like animals is all us kids who grew up in the time we did want to see.
This is true. I'm gonna save my worst movie for the end.
Okay.
But I will go to my honorable mentions, which Werewolves Within
Mm-hmm.
was good and I liked it. And I actually totally forgot about this movie. But Black Friday,
Mm-hmm.
again, another movie that's pretty simple, straightforward. There's not a whole lot of explanation on anything.
Mm-hmm.
Things just happen and you accept it. And Bruce Campbell's good in it. Devon Sawa is good in it. And
I will
mean,
watch it.
you should.
I will.
I like this movie in him way better than Danzig's the fucking vampire movie, House of the whatever.
Oh, I
the fuck
did
it was.
not see that. I can't.
You have to
I
because we need to
can't do it. No, I don't have to.
I mean, you really have to. You should.
I don't. I think I'm good.
I don't know.
I think I'm all right with that.
I don't know. I think this is a get drunk on wine and I'm gonna fucking watch this movie. It might actually make more sense if you're drunk.
Perhaps.
Yeah, but he was in that, and it was what it was. But I don't know. I feel like in a movie like that, it's just kind of bad, and purposely trying to be campy, but also not trying to be campy because let's be honest, Danzig is not a great director or writer of movies. And Devon Sawa is actually not a bad actor, so I feel like something like that just has a bad script. He's underused in it, but Black Friday, he was actually really good. So that was a pleasant surprise. The Werewolves Within, just a fun movie.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I liked Malignant.
Yeah,
Just for
it was interesting.
Well, just for pure like eye candy silliness. And I think what made me actually like it more was the people who hated it because they didn't realize it was trying to be kind of silly. And so then that got me more on its side because I was like anytime someone would post or write like, you couldn't tell like whether they think we're idiots or the sound or the movement, and I'm like, you thought they were hiding all that? Because I don't know how many movies you've seen, or maybe they really were trying to hide it, and I don't think that's possible.
Yeah, I didn't not like it. I thought it was entertaining for what it was. It wasn't something I was super excited about to see, but when I watched it, and I didn't hate it. I didn't want my 2 hours back, hour and whatever it was back after I got done watching it. Oh yeah.
What I have found is weird is like, I guess I was looking up all the lists before we did this of like the horror movies of 2021 and then the best lists. And I've realized that like out of every top 20 list, I've seen like 2 of them. So maybe I should give some of these others a chance.
Yeah, there was a lot of movies that came out that which I mean, there always is because you can't hear of everything and there's low budget and indie films.
Yeah.
But I mean, but there was still a lot that, were bigger releases that I'd never heard of.
Yeah, there's just some that I started and I felt like I wasn't in the mood for, like The Night House. I kept hearing good things about. and I started it, and it was just a little too slow burny, somber drama for me that evening. Or like
Yeah, it's
the new VHS. I kept hearing stuff like that, but that's another one. Those, it's hard for me to watch those.
yeah,
Like I appreciate what they are, but it doesn't get my attention as much as it should. Maybe.
yeah.
Maybe it should.
I feel like they're like too kitschy with what they're trying to do,
Hmm.
and it's just not appealing to me when I watch them.
Yeah, it seems like a cheaper version of stuff that I like. Kind
Right.
Of.
Like the Wish version of
Yeah,
1984 or whatever.
exactly.
Or Stranger Things.
Totally. And then like I kept hearing good things about the Fear Street trilogy too, but I did not check that out yet.
They were good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Stranger Things is the best product out of that whole type of
Group.
gimmick.
Mhm.
But the Fear Street, it was interesting how they had different eras, which all led back into the same era from the beginning and at the end. It's just basically telling you the lore and why things are happening. So it was, it was amusing.
Yeah, I think I'm just back with the less is more. I think that's why I enjoyed the new version of Wrong Turn. I think that's why I enjoyed Willy's Wonderland. Like maybe I feel like I appreciate some of the newer psychological horror stuff too, depending on what it is. But I think at the end of the day, it's like I like the shit I've always liked.
Right. Yeah. I have to say my best movie, and it's just because I'm a huge monster movie guy, was Godzilla versus King Kong.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun, and it was cool to see monsters, giant monsters again.
Yeah.
So, but
I would agree with
that was my my most favorite. What about yours?
It was funny. I was trying to think, and I think that this year, TV horror trumped movies for me. And like my favorite stuff was on TV. I don't know if you've ever seen a show called Evil, but it's on its second season.
I've heard,
now.
I know what you're talking about, but I've never watched it. No.
So it started out, and I want to say it almost had like, I don't want to say a Supernatural or Buffy kind of tone, because it was definitely more serious than that and had like a whole like Catholicism kind of backbone to it.
Right.
But it had like some fun creatures, and the scary stuff wasn't as scary as it could be because they definitely, use that sort of like CGI kind of kooky stuff in there.
Right.
But this last season, it got a lot more serious, and I just really loved all the turns it made. And I think that, that might be my best of. Just something about the characters. I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I could totally see the series being a bigger star than some of the movies, or a lot of the movies for people.
There was a bunch this year. I mean, not all of them were great, but I did like I Know What You Did Last Summer. Midnight Mass was great. Definitely kind of slow moving, but then that one paid some good homage to some great stuff. M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong and his show Servant. I don't know why. It's the one thing he's done that hasn't pissed me off yet, but I really want to know where he's going. And I'm sure it's going to piss me off. But there was some good sci-fi stuff too, like The Nevers and The Regulars.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw Resident Alien. It was really fucking weird, and I wanted to hate it at first, but then by the end I got really into it.
That's the one with the guy from Dodgeball, the pirate guy, right?
Yep.
Redhead guy. Yeah.
It's such a fucking weird show. Like at the beginning it really turned me off because of the weirdness. I thought they were trying to be serious, but then but And that also, I mean, TV could have taken it for me because this year I've just, with everything going on, I've had such like a shitty attention span. So
Right.
I feel like, 40-minute to hour spurts are perfect. Or just working long days and trying to get other shit done and not really feel like sitting down for long periods of time. Or if I do, I want like mindless garbage on while I just like check my email and
Well,
think about how great the next day is going to be.
100%, because it's even because we were even texting while I was in the theater watching Scream,
Yeah, I know. I was like, I don't think you should be texting me right now.
which I never do, but yeah, fucking the new level of the simulation has ruined everything for people, so their attention spans are fucked.
No, I know. Yeah, I've been having to like actively be like, I'm not fucking getting on my phone or checking my email and put it in another room just to not go on
Right.
autopilot if a movie starts boring me, so I can like watch it. But
Yep.
yeah, our brains are fucked.
They are fucked.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right. Let's get to I'll save my news, my biggest news for the
Okay.
end. But we'll get it. I'll go with my worst movie, which you had already mentioned, which was Spiral.
Ugh.
Granted, I am not
Ugh.
a big fan of the Saw franchise. The first one was what it was. It was cool, but I'm not into them. This, within the first 5 minutes, you completely know that it was Chris Rock's. Oh, I just want to make a movie to showcase me.
Yeah.
And that's all it was. The story was just fucking complete dog shit. So many holes in it, and just fell apart towards the end. The whole thing was just a mess.
And it was boring as fuck.
Super boring.
And then the end was like, I don't know. Out of all the Saw movies and all the crazy, weird shit they've done to people, they could have really come up with something a little bit better.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I mean, that was like I don't know, like a regular mystery movie level
But bad.
situation. Like the Cross movies, like all the Alex
Yeah.
Cross stuff.
Mhm.
Like that's basically what that was.
Yeah. And like I said, it was Chris Rock's pet project of, okay, I want to be in a horror movie where I'm going to play me, basically. Wisecracking Chris Rock doesn't necessarily fit into that type of movie, that character.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it was just weird. There'd be a normal part, and then, he'd break into. It was like he'd break into a piece
It
of his
was
comedy
literally
act.
if James Patterson wrote a fucking Saw movie. And why fucking Chris Rock was in that.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, that was my word. It was tough to watch. And part of it, again, is me being biased against that whole franchise. I'm just not into it.
Yeah.
But Chris Rock just made it substantially worse. And oh man, it was rough getting through it. And then when the end came, could have cared less about that entire. That's the movie that I felt I completely wasted my time watching. And I'll never get that time back. Ever.
Yeah. No, you won't. No, you won't.
Mm-mm. So, what say you?
My worst movie?
Mm-hmm.
I already said Violation.
That's your for sure worst.
Yeah. I mean, I watched Aquarium of the Dead and that wasn't great, but I can't include that because that's not supposed to be great.
Right.
Like
Well,
that's a
speaking
that's
of
like
that, there were so
worse
many.
than Sharknado. I mean, there's tons of bad stuff, but what, like you picking Spiral, it's like adding insult to injury when these movies are actually meant to be made to be movies that
Right.
people watch
Well-
seriously and care about. Like, I'm not going to put something like Poltergeist in the same, category as the original Poltergeist
Right.
because it's not fair.
It's funny that you bring up Aquarium of the Dead because there were so many bad movies that I watched. Again, The Conjuring. It was a close tie between a few movies. The Conjuring, The Devil Made
Yeah,
Me
The
Do It
Conjuring
was
would
one
be
of
up
them,
there too.
right?
Yeah.
And then
Totally. Because that was just a
Army-
waste of fucking time.
Army of the Dead. I
So
felt
finally
like I got
watched
honey
it.
dicked into watching a movie that was not what it was kind of promoted as.
Sure. I'll
know?
give you that. So I finally watched it, and just from
And
like
I
all
hate
the
James
shit
Gunn.
you had talked,
Yeah.
I thought I would hate it more, but it was fine. It was just fine. I mean, like but that's also, and I'm probably saying that because it's a movie that I don't have to devote a lot of attention to.
Oh
And
yeah.
I can still see like explosions and bright colors and shit happening, whether or not I'm texting on my phone or checking
Right.
emails or playing
Yeah.
video games. So for that purpose, it was fine. But actual like substance, yeah, no.
Yeah.
And I do like James Gunn. So
The slow motion kills me, and they're all like 4 hour long movies.
no, that's fucking
That's James.
no, that's the guy who
Or-
redid the.
Yeah. Well, that's the guy who did fucking Army of the Dead.
Okay,
Guy who
yeah,
did
that
Justice
guy.
League.
That's,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, James Gunn is Suicide Squad and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. He also did
Not-
the new Justice League, and
No, he didn't do that long cut of the Justice League.
Mhm.
The super long one? That's
Mhm.
not him. No, it's not. Fuck you. No, it's Zack something.
Zack Snyder. Yeah, Zack Snyder. No, James Gunn. Yeah, James Gunn is good. Zack Snyder.
Jesus. I'm
Yeah.
like, come on, man. I know you're wrong.
Yeah. No, Zack Snyder is terrible.
Not that I love James Gunn, but for fuck's sake, he is much better than
This is true.
Zack Snyder.
My apologies, James Gunn. See, I hate Zack Snyder so much I can't even keep his name in my head. So yeah, and it was honestly a tie between Spiral and that, but Spiral won just because I thought maybe there might have been a chance it would have been good, or at least decent. Whereas I knew there was almost a 100% chance I was not going to like Army of the Dead. But so those movies that I have hope for that hurt me more are the ones that win. So what was your biggest news of 2021, or your most favorite news?
I think that my favorite news of 2021 is just following the saga that is Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Because he's always got news. The guy's
This is
staying
true.
relevant with weird shit, but he's always got news. Having a baby,
It's everything.
fucking Dracula. I mean, he's just doing shit. Guys
Yeah.
making moves, getting kicked out of fucking places in Vegas for being drunk. It's like,
Good old Nicolas Cage. That is pretty good news. There's a lot. I mean, Shutter's still kicking ass. Joe Bob's still doing his thing, which is awesome.
oh yeah, he's blown up. I mean, this year I feel like he's blown up more than ever too.
Yeah, it was probably a better year.
Yeah,
goddamn Nicolas Cage, that's pretty good. But it's not better than my favorite news, my biggest news, which was you coming on and blessing Monster Candy Podcast with your presence as one of the new hosts. Oobliette.
Oh, that's big news.
It
Big
is.
news.
Because goddamn it.
When was my first episode? It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, like
I have to look it up.
like March or something of last
Oh
year.
my God, it will be our year anniversary soon.
Yeah. Finally good to have another person that hates the lizard people.
I
mean, you know,
it's like
Shotzi's
a
low
love
key on our side, but we can't
sort
really
of
talk about
thing. Well, I mean, she's on a fast track to becoming one.
that. Yeah, you know.
Sorry, Shotzi.
Yeah.
But hook me up with some adrenochrome, baby.
You know, got the
I'm
hook
okay
up.
with that part.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, that was my favorite news of the year.
Oh, that's so sweet. It's almost been a year, February 9th.
Okay. I knew it was around the first couple months of the year.
Yeah.
So look at that.
Time flies when you're
It does.
talking shit about Nicolas Cage.
Yep. And you're stuck in the fucking garbage level of the simulation. It's the same thing.
And some of the
over.
biggest horror news is in that year we've kind of gotten on a normal schedule.
Oh yeah. Yeah, normal schedules are good.
And we've updated our icon logo that now says podcast,
Right.
not just Monster Candy.
Yep.
So,
Things are happening. Slowly but surely.
We're making moves.
But I mean, what do you
Big
expect
things,
from
guys? Big things are happening.
from punk rockers that are awesome that don't care about the lizard people? You know?
Yeah, and are highly motivated to
Yeah.
make moves on this podcast,
Making
make it
moves.
awesome. And then big horror news too. In this last year, E has started posting stories on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Not just
Yeah,
feed
the
posts.
stories.
That was a big move. Big
Yeah.
move.
I try to fight technology as long as I can.
Yeah,
Keeps
he
me
did
human.
for a while. But when I make videos being dumb in a British accent, being held by Godzilla or King Kong, like, how can you resist sharing those? Because
You can't.
they're just so adorable.
Yeah.
They're great.
I agree. That's it. I didn't even want to share those.
That was my favorite.
I was just compelled to. I couldn't stop myself.
Yeah, you can't let that just die in the interwebs. It's gotta be shared.
Oh, you're right. When you're right, you're right.
That's how I forced him to start using stories. I
Yeah.
had to hone in my acting skills, make some sick ass sweet videos, and tag
This is
him in
true.
it. So then he just had to share
Just
them.
had to.
And then if he didn't, I just post them over and over and keep tagging Monster Candy until eventually he shared one.
One way or another, it was going to happen. So
That was my favorite horror news.
there you go. Well,
Got
with
you
that
to
being,
submit
I
to
mean,
the stories.
hey, I think with that we're going to end this because what else is there to say?
Yeah, we got movies to watch, man.
Hell yeah,
Got
and
shit to do.
shit to record. And
This year's already starting off better than last year, I'll tell you that much.
All right, fuckers. This is Monster Candy Podcast Year in Review,
Well,
2021.
hello, Mr.
Garbage
Fancy
time.
Pants.
Yep.
I hear you.
Bye,
Candyman,
2021.
Give me some sugar, baby. Like scary movies.
Uh-huh. Want some candy?
Truly.
You ever dance with the devil by the pale moonlight? We don't have to be mean.
Yeah, Jack Burton just looks that big old storm right square in the eye and he says, "Get away from her, you bitch!"
You're gonna need a bigger boat. Your move, creep.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.